An emergency situation can happen at any given time to any given person, and it's important to be prepared for those types of situations. Personally, as a certified nurse's assistant, I take my residents' vital signs at least one time a shift. This is because if their health is declining, you want to make sure, or you want to check exactly how fast their health is declining. But if they have been sick for a long period of time, you want to check and see if they're actually getting better or if they're maintaining at the same place. So today I'm going to show all of you how to properly take someone's blood pressure by first showing you the position the person needs to be in, where and how to place your cuff, the placement of your stethoscope, and further how to read your gauge and then write and record your blood pressure. Before I get into my demonstration, I want to introduce you all to a few terms that you may not understand so we're not confused during my demonstration. So this is my stethoscope. This is a blood pressure cuff, which cuffs come with different sizes, so if you need to adjust because your person or resident or whatever is bigger or smaller, you just unclip your gauge from here and get a different size. This is your pressure gauge. This little valve right here is your air release valve, and this is your inflation bulb. Now that we're familiar with the terms, I'm going to go into my demonstration. So first, you want the person to be in the proper position, which is seated with your legs uncrossed, and you want their arm to be level with their heart. So, can you skip forward? So you don't want them to have to hold their arm up like this. You're going to want them to rest it because this is making them work harder and they're probably going to be shaky. So you want them to rest it on a table, a counter, or anything that you have nearby. And then, now that they're in the right position, you can place your cuff. Every single cuff has artery marks. There's either one for the right arm or the left arm. Today we're obviously going to be using the left arm because her left arm is up. So you take the left artery mark and you're going to line it up with the brachial artery. Your brachial artery is on the anterior of your upper arm. So you line your brachial or your artery mark with your brachial artery and tightly fasten your cuff. You want the cuff to be tight but not too extremely tight because you don't want it to fall and you don't want it to add too much pressure to the arm. Now that your cuff is in the right place, you are ready to place your stethoscope. When you put your stethoscope on, you want to make sure first that your earpieces are pointed away from you and not towards you, because then you won't be able to hear it properly. So when you put it in your ears, I'm not going to do it right now because then I feel like I'm yelling, you want to test if you can actually hear your stethoscope. So you're going to tap on it. If you can't hear it, you need to turn your head around, but this is the right way. So now that I have that placed and my stethoscope, or the cuff placed, I'm going to place my stethoscope on the crease of her elbow right underneath the cuff. You may or may not be able to hear a pulse right away, and that's fine if you don't because you will hear it once you pump up in her arm. So now I'm ready to take her blood pressure. When doing this, I am going to switch sides actually. You want to make sure that your valve is fastened. Not too tight because you have to release the pressure slowly. And so you just want to make sure that you can easily turn it towards you. So now that my cuff is placed and my valve is tight, I'm going to put my stethoscope back into place. And you're going to pump up to 160. Once you reach 160, you're going to slowly release the pressure until you can hear a pulse. When you do that, you want to listen for the first thud and the last thud. Your first thud is your systolic pressure, and your last thud is your diastolic pressure. When recording those pressures, you have to write systolic over diastolic. So Mary Ann's pressure was 120/80, which is the quote-unquote normal. But if your blood pressure is lower than that, that's perfectly fine. Unless you're feeling nauseous or dizzy or just really under the weather, you might want to get that checked out. Being under is normal, but being over is where it gets a little more intense. Because if you're over 120/80, you may be in stages 1, 2, or 3 of hypertension, and that can lead to heart problems or heart disease or other fatal heart problems and health issues. So now that you all know how to properly take someone's blood pressure, I hope you can use it.